gonna go with these Thesis 6.5s in the door. And even though they make a nice plastic pre-assembled panel that will house either a 6.5 or a 6x9 for the door, we're gonna make our own custom brackets because we want something a little bit more rigid than the 1/8 inch plastic. We're actually gonna make them out of 1/2 inch and then make stacks on there to get them to the right height we need in order to meet up with the door panel. But let's grab these and take a look at them. To those of you that aren't familiar with what the Thesis brand of Audison is, this is their top-of-the-line flagship model. It's made out of the most exotic materials they can find to sound the best that they can possibly make. Inside you'll find the owner's manual and a box inside of a box. It's pretty impressive, there's no doubt about it. It's got a jewelry box style hinge here. Ooh, top piece of foam comes out, 2 grills. And these are not cheap plastic grills, these are aluminum grills. The speakers come with a plastic cover over them so you don't damage the surround. And there it is. You can see all the way through the speaker, so you can see my fingers up underneath there. The TH 6.5 II Sax, or it should read SEX. Ooh, naughty, naughty. They're individually serial numbered. Also in the bag, we get some moisture stuff, some Allen head screws, along with the Allen bit for them, some speaker terminals. This uses the medium-sized speaker terminal on here, and they are the same on both left and right. A couple of parameters for this speaker. This is, of course, as we said, a 6.5. It has 300 watts of peak power with 150 of continuous. It's a 4 ohm. It has a frequency response of 40 to 4500 hertz. It has a 2-inch voice coil. The magnet is made out of neodymium. This plastic material that the cone is made out of is called TPX, and it has a weight of 2.67 pounds. And that would be why we're making door pods for it. As you can see, it's a pretty serious speaker. It's going to be getting some pretty serious power, so we want to make sure that it is secure in that door as humanly possible. So let's head over to the routers and start cutting out some plastic and start getting the basic shape that we're going to need in order to mount these in the car. For this F-150, we're going to be using this template here to make our basic shape. And what we're going for is something like this here. This is made out of 1/2 inch. The sides are routed down a little bit in order to allow the screws to go in. This has a 1/2 inch spacer on top of it to give us a full 1 inch of clearance. Essentially, we could use this, but we're going to make new ones. So how we made this originally was we took the factory speaker and we mounted it on top of a piece of 1/4 inch. We like to use white for our templates. That way we know that they're templates and not something for the car. We screw it in place and or we remove this top foam gasket, which is a flat underneath it, and we allow us to put tape on it, which we could stick down. So it just depends on the speaker that we're doing. Then we take a tall router bit like this you can pick up at Mobile Solutions that has a lot of clearance here. You need a lot of neck. You can also do it with a router bit like this. It's a little thinner. There again, Mobile Solutions. And what you want to do is just make sure that you have enough so that your bearings will ride this, and then cut the material located beneath it. So while it's sitting like this, the bearings have to touch the top and cut. You can also just pick up a set of them already pre-made from Best Kits. It's the BK FSB 1501. To make these, we're going to need 2 pieces of 10.5 by 9 1/2 inch material. Just like the last piece we made, we're going to apply some template tape to all 3 pieces so we can router it out. Set your router height. You want your bearing to ride just this white material. When you're doing something that involves this bit coming out really far, when you're done, put it back in the table. When it's out like that, let's say something, you're moving something around and it bumps that, you're gonna bend your router bit. You don't wanna do that because these things aren't cheap. The next step we're going to do is drill these holes for where the factory screws are. You'll notice there's no circle cut inside of this. We don't do that on our templates because we might be putting a different size speaker in there. We wanna make sure we have the right size diameter for the basket that we're gonna use. Plane down these sides to make it a little bit thinner, we're going to use the table saw to do that. We only need to take off and thin out the area where the screws are located, and we've come up about not even 1/8 of an inch. We have the sides planed down. We can separate our pieces now. To make the hole, we need to find out how big it needs to be. For that, we're going to use these two tools here. It's going to allow us to slide this back and forth, and then with this tape measure, we can figure out what size this needs to be. You can also use a caliper attached at the end here to get the same measurements. I'm getting 5.67. Looking at this, I'm getting 5 5/8, about the same. The reason why we need that is because we're going to enter that into the software on our computer, because we're going to laser cut out this size that we need. One other thing we want to do is scan in the shape of our template. When the template's scanned in, what we need to find out is the actual physical size of it. To do that, we'll take a measurement from here to here. We'll draw a line that's going to give us scale for our product, and we'll zoom out our picture so we can get it to scale. Once we have the height the way we want it, we know we're good. We can remove our scale line. To center it in the page, we're going to measure from this area here to this area here and draw a line just like before. We're going to measure the distance between these two and divide them in half, and that'll give us the length of our line. Roughly we have 6.4, so that's going to be 3.2. When we've checked both sides for accuracy, we can remove that line as well. When we have everything centered up, proceed now. So we have the hole that we're going to need, but we need to build this structure around here. Now that we've done that, we can cut out this shape and lay it over the top of this piece here. But we want to bring it in a little bit. We don't want it to be this exact same size. Bring it in about 1/8 of an inch. This is the shape we want. That will copy this shape. It'll give us a little gap around it. This will be the bottom plate. Before we cut this out of our final product, we're just going to cut it out of MDF and make sure it's the right shape and everything fits. Test fit wise for the shape is good. nice and tight around the basket. This is definitely what we're going for. We need to figure out how thick this piece is gonna have to be, how many of these we're gonna have to router out. For that, we'll go back to our first template and put it in the door and see what that looks like. Now we're gonna add a little bit of beauty. To finish this off, we're gonna add in a F-150 logo and also a 5-star logo. Once we have everything inspected, lined up, the holes are in the right spot, it's time to export it and get it to the laser. On the laser, you have the 5-star and the F-150 are going to be engraved, and then those are in pink, and then the orange is going to be cut on the laser. And this is an image of the piece of product inside of the laser. Even though we are going to need 2 of these, we're going to print them one at a time, just to make sure that everything goes according to plan. It takes the same amount of time whether you're printing 1 or 2. We are going to be using 1/4 inch clear acrylic. Now, because of the logos, this one's going to take some time. This one's going to take 9 minutes. It actually takes longer to do these than it does the whole thing. Our light is good. Test fitting, it's exactly the shape we wanted. Screw holes line up. We've also added these 4 holes here, so this will allow us to screw this onto it. So even though I know no one is ever gonna see this, we wanted it to look really cool. And looking at this, how it has the clear color to it, we're gonna leave this clear. Originally I was gonna paint it, but now I just wanna leave it the clear to kind of mimic the speaker. To screw this in place, we're gonna use some M6 Allen bolts, just like this comes with. And we're going to use a drill bit that taps the threads into place. Now the last step in this is going to be routering out our hole for the speaker, so we need to drill a pilot hole, get over the router, and router this out. Definitely getting closer. The only thing we have left to do is get this speaker mounted in place, just like this. This speaker already has a gasket material on the back side, so we don't have to add anything. And we'd like our Allen screws to match up. That means we're gonna pre-drill our holes. We'll use a bit with the threads already on them. And there we go. Speaker 1 is all set and ready to put in. Now Fernando is going to go ahead and add a fast ring to it, because even as pretty as this is, it still needs to perform, and we want that fast ring on that, so when we put the door panel on, it'll push all that sound out into the car. We'll also put the other side of the fast ring on the back of it here, so that it will help to focus the energy into all that nice roadkill we put into it to keep the vibrations to a minimum. As fun as this project has been, I have more to do, so I'm going to get this over to him and start on the next one.